So now that I've done some calculations on your diet recall, I want to talk about some changes that we can make. So you were consuming 2,976 calories yesterday, and your goal for weight loss is going to be 1,800 calories. So that's quite a big difference in calories, and so you're actually going to be burning more calories than you're eating. So that's so it's going to create a calorie deficit, which is going to cause weight loss. Okay. So first off, I want to start by looking at your 24-hour recall and finding some areas that we could possibly work on. Was there anything you had thought of or you could see in your diet recall?
I could probably eat more veggies.
Eat more veggies?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say so.
So you actually had a decent amount of veggies. You had some mashed potatoes and some corn. So you had about 2 cups of vegetables yesterday, and your goal is 2.5 cups. So you were pretty close to your goal. The only problem that I saw was that you had mostly starchy vegetables. And starchy vegetables, they're very high in calories. And you want to go for a bigger variety of vegetables and some that are more nutrient dense, which are lower in calories. Okay. What are some vegetables that you do like?
I like carrots, broccoli, peas, celery, stuff like that. There's definitely a good number that I like that I could possibly incorporate.
Okay, and what are some ways that you like to eat them? Do you like to bring them as snacks or with meals?
I think mostly as snacks, but definitely you could add them into meals, I suppose.
Okay.
But mostly just like raw
Vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay. And something that you could possibly do to help make it easier, so it's just a grab and go, is you could cut them up once a week. Cut up some celery, some carrots, some fresh peas, and you could put them in bags and then just grab them in the morning. So that's a great place to start. Is there anything else that you can see?
Let's see. For veggies still?
So I think we covered the veggies,
Okay.
Add them into your meals and, start off with some snacks.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's see. We got veggies. It looks like maybe there's a lot of carbs.
A lot of carbs
in my diet.
Yeah, there definitely are. And carbs are not a bad thing. But overconsumption of grains is not good because grains are easy to eat a lot of because they taste so good. So I had you consuming 11.5 servings of grain yesterday, and your goal is going to be 6 ounces, 6 servings. So let's find some areas in your diet where maybe we can swap them out, or we can just identify the overconsumption.
Okay.
Okay?
That bagel first thing in the morning is probably the biggest thing, I think.
So what type of things could you swap it out for, or what kind of type of changes could you make?
Maybe trying some other kind of grain for breakfast, something like that. So maybe not a bagel, but maybe like, I don't know, oatmeal, or maybe having like a whole grain bagel or something
That's
like
great.
that.
That's great. And so you mentioned a whole grain. Do you know why we want to eat whole grains?
I don't.
Okay, so whole grains are really great for you because they increase the amount of fullness and the amount of satisfaction from our meals. So they keep you fuller for longer, and they also include more vitamins, minerals, and fiber. So that's great. Some sources of those, like you mentioned, 2 of them is oatmeal and a whole wheat bagel. So that's great. That would be a great transition. But we also don't want to eat another whole bagel because that's still the same amount of grain.
Yeah.
So while it is a good grain, we still don't want to overconsume it. Okay. So maybe eat half a bagel. Okay.
Definitely.
Any other areas in grains you saw?
Let's see. The chewy granola bar I had for a snack.
Yeah. And we had talked about swapping that out for a vegetable. So that's a great place to start.
Maybe the tortilla on the burrito that I had for lunch.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So having the tortilla and the tortilla chips together is definitely a lot of carbs in one meal.
Yeah. Okay.
Not to mention the fact that the burrito also has fat and carbs, and it has a lot of extra calories.
Mhm.
So it's great. So is there any types of substitutes that you could add in, or any ways you could think of changing this meal to make it more balanced?
Maybe, using some kind of like a whole grain, tortilla or bread or something, and then maybe doing like a sandwich so that I can include more veggies with that.
Yeah, great.
Could be an option.
Mhm.
I think so. And then also be pretty easy to make in the morning and bring with me during the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, so if you're running short on time, then you don't really have to worry about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's great. Any other areas that you saw?
Let's see. I feel like there might have been a lot of fats.
A lot of fats,
A lot
yes,
of fat in my diet.
definitely. So can you point out some sources of fat for me?
Let's see. Probably the cream cheese that I had in the bagel,
Mm.
I would imagine. Also the cheese that's in the burrito
Mm-hmm.
that I had. Probably the cream that was in my coffee in the morning.
Mm.
Maybe the guacamole
Mhm.
or the trail mix, also possibly. And also I had some butter too. So that's probably a big one.
Great,
Yeah.
great. So you had a lot of sources of fat throughout your diet. Do you know the difference between a saturated and an unsaturated fat?
I don't.
A saturated fat is, it can increase your risk of cardiovascular disease. So they're typically called the bad fats. And then you have unsaturated fats, which are usually from plants, from fish, your omega-3 or omega-6s
Mhm.
that you hear so much about. So you definitely want to have more unsaturated fats in your diet and limit the saturated fats from animal products.
Yeah. Okay.
So some sources that I saw in your diet are butter, the pork chop, the tortilla chips are saturated fat because of the oil that they're fried in. Your burrito had a lot of saturated fat from the cheese and the cream and the cream cheese.
Okay.
So let's look at some areas where you could make some changes.
Okay, for sure.
Do you have any ideas?
Well, as much as I do like my cream, my coffee, maybe changing that for like just regular milk.
That's a great option.
Definitely might help cut down on a lot of that. Let's see, what else?
And the cream in your coffee, you don't necessarily have to cut it out if that's something that, is really, really part of your morning ritual. Then you don't necessarily have to cut it out, maybe reduce the size, or maybe keep that as one of your few sources of saturated fats per day.
Okay. And then maybe look at doing something with less fats in it for lunch, and then, maybe cutting down on like, putting butter on things, maybe just putting on less butter.
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
on days where I have corn.
Definitely reducing the portion size is great.
Yeah.
Also, your ice cream. That's a big contributor to saturated fats. Can you think of any other snacks that you could swap in there?
Well, I do really like my ice cream, but I do suppose maybe like frozen yogurt or something like that.
Yeah, those are great
Also
ideas.
work.
And you don't necessarily, like I said, with the cream, have to give up your ice cream. You can always just reduce this portion size, correct? Yeah. So it's really important to know how much a portion size is of a food. So you may see on a nutrition label that, there's 300 calories in a whole slab of bacon, but that's not actually true. You have to look at how many servings are per container.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Are there any other areas that you saw?
Let's see. So we already did vegetables, carbs, fats. I feel like there, may have been just a lot of extra calories from, maybe the M&Ms in my trail mix or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you definitely had some additional calories that didn't have a lot of nutritional value, and the M&Ms were definitely a source of those. Your lemonade was also a source of those.
And a lot of sugar with those too.
Yeah, and you had some sugar in your
Coffee.
in your coffee, and the ice cream was also had some calories. So ways that you can take care of those is you can swap out your drinks for water or reduced fat milk. I saw that you drank some 2% milk. Would switching to 1% be something that you'd be willing to do?
I think so. Yeah.
That'd be a doable thing?
I think so.
Okay. And then, do you drink water a lot?
Usually like at least once a day.
Once a day?
Yeah.
Yeah, so anytime you're feeling thirsty, I definitely recommend water or milk. Juices and lemonades, definitely, they have a lot of calories for not a lot of nutritional value. We want you to be drinking those fluids. We just don't want the additional sugar. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's really all I can see for the most part.
Okay. All right, and so I just have some handouts just for you to take home with you, so that this kind of helps you stick with the plan. So this is a handout on how to add more vegetables to your day.
Okay.
It's going to walk you through some different ways. It basically kind of sticks with what we talked about. Is go for the more nutrient dense, the greener, the more colorful vegetables that are lower calories. And this can kind of personalize it for you. You can find some different ways that you can work those in, and you want to maintain your 2.5 cup servings per day.
Okay.
And I also had a handout on choosing whole grains. And this is going to help you figure out what foods do have whole grains and what foods don't have whole grains, because sometimes it can be confusing. Because wheat bread definitely isn't always actually made with whole wheat, so it's really important to know what you're looking for. And then my last handout for you was just what we had kind of talked about serving size, and this helps you read a nutrition fact label. So if you look at serving size, it's 1/2 cup. For most ice creams, it's 1/2 cup serving size, and you consumed a cup. So you can be aware of that when you're trying to keep track of your calories. And it'll tell you how many servings are per package. In case you accidentally eat a whole container, then you know how much you ate. And it'll tell you the calories. So that's a great way to just help you make some food choices. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you coming in today. I just want you to recap for me what we talked about so that I'm sure that you understand.
Okay. So we talked about increasing the amount of veggies that I'm eating and the variety of those veggies. We talked about cutting down on my grains and also replacing them with whole grains that are more healthy.
Okay.
We talked about the amount of fat that I was consuming in my diet and how we can switch stuff out to bring that down a little bit. And also the empty calories that I was consuming with all the added sugar and whatnot that was in there.
Great. That's exactly right. So I'm just going to give you my card in case you need to contact me or the office for any reason. I think a great time to meet would be in a month from now to see how you're progressing and how you're doing with some of the diet changes. And so you can just give me a call when you're ready to set up that appointment.
Awesome.
Okay?
Sounds good. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.